Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, fellow Earthling YouTubers and subscribers. I hope the wind isn't going to bother this one, because one lady said she listens through her headphones and it must drive her mad. I'm so sorry, I can't find Graham's microphone. So I'm on with cleaning the boat, alone, on my own. Do you know what? I've been up here for a couple of hours. This is going to be quite a long one, by the way, for me. I've been up here for a couple of hours scrubbing away on the decks. As I said, I couldn't get one with a stick. On my hands and knees, and I'll show you in a minute. I'm doing half the bow, and then you'll see, and I'll do another video later, and then you'll see the before and after. And he hasn't even come up to say, would I like a cup of tea? Am I all right? He's on his flight sim, doesn't give a monkey's. Then he comes out and he says, I went down, I said, you haven't even offered me a cup of tea, I'm cleaning the boat. And he said, oh, I don't like it, it's too hot up there. I said to him, get back to your bedroom and put a skirt on, man, for goodness sake. Anyway, I'll show you what I've done so far. This is the good half, there's my fairy liquid. And that's the other half that I've got to do. Right, I'm going to try and make sure I haven't got any wind in this one, because, as I say, it's going to be a bit of a long one. He did make me a cup of tea eventually, and that's going cold. I'm going to scooch down to the edge of the boat. It's a bit of a philosophical one, this one. I've had a couple of sugars on. One's just said to me, sugar's a racist term because of the... Is that better with the sound? I really hope so. Sugar's a racist term because of the sugar plantations. And I said, no, it's not. It's a sweet substance. So when you make a cup of tea and you ask someone, you mustn't say, would you like sugar in your tea? Say, would you like some racists in your tea? I'm not going to say what I've just had a little thought come in my head, which I won't say. Anyway, and another one said I'm sad, and I said why? No reply to that. And another one said I'm disturbed and mental or something, and I said really, am I? Why? And no answer to that. It's funny, isn't it? They never want to answer. They never want to engage in a discussion or a debate. Anyway, I'm not wasting my breath on them. I'm going to tell you all a story today about a girl I went to school with. I will change her name because she is alive and she still lives in Brighton, and I know that because I have encountered other people who know her now, and I always think, oh, I remember. Well, she was my best friend from when I was 5, when I first started school. We were at the same junior school together, and I thought she was marvellous at first. And nobody else liked her. None of the other children liked her. I'm going to call her Ali, but that is not her real name. And I, at first, couldn't understand why I'm going to move around a bit, because this breeze is chasing me. I hope I don't drop my phone in the water or fall in. Even worse. Scooch round here. There, that should be even better. Anyway, Ali was very, very unpopular with the other children. And as time went by, I realised why. Because she was always causing trouble. And she was always the sort to go to people and say, I'm telling teacher. And I used to say to her, don't do that. That is making you unpopular. And I used to stick up for her all the time. And it made me quite unpopular, actually, with some of the children. But other children, they sort of said, we do admire what you're trying to do with her, but it's never going to work. She's never going to change. And do you know what? She never did. Anyway, we did all a junior school together from 1975 to 1980. And then we changed schools to St Mary's Hall. And she was so unpopular. She was so hated at Kingscliff. She said to me, Fiona, it's going to be a fresh start for us at St Mary's Hall. Can you do me a favour and not tell any of the new people at the new school any of my problems from the old school? And I said absolutely. By this stage we weren't enemies, but we weren't friends. I'd sort of said to her, I'm quite fed up with sticking up for you. You create your own problems. Anyway, I didn't say a word. But the problem was, it wasn't just me and her that moved up to St Mary's Hall together. There were quite a few others. Kingscliff was mixed sex, but St Mary's Hall was all girls, and some of the other girls came and they were very quick to fill the others in, and it didn't take long. all the kids who didn't know her realised what she was like. So once we got to St Mary's Hall, I really distanced myself from her. I just thought, you're on your own, kiddo. You won't take advice. You won't listen. I've told you not to be rude to this person, not to be rude to anybody. I've told you to try and make friends, to get on with people, to be nice to people, not to break confidences and shit stir and create drama. But she wouldn't listen. There was abuse at home, actually. That's another reason I'm not going to say her name. There was abuse at home, which I'll come to in a minute. It wasn't sexual abuse, but I'd had sleepovers and I'd seen it. A very, very rich family, very wealthy. Anyway, the years ticked by at St Mary's Hall and she just kept rubbing everybody up the wrong way. I wouldn't say she was bullied. People, just avoided her. And one day we were queuing outside the chemistry lab, waiting for the teacher, and it was me, her, and a couple of other girls who were like school nerds, but they were really funny, and everybody liked them. They were far, far from bullies. They were like school wimps, but they were hilarious, and everybody loved them. And they started messing about with her bag, pretend Piggy in the middle, very sort of pathetically and limp and like, oh, her bag's too heavy to pick up, and just making us laugh. Well, she started kicking off. She starts screaming, bully, 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 oh, they're bullying me, they're bullying me, they're bullying me, help me, Fiona. Anyway, she went to grab the bag, and because she went to grab it, it went over the banisters and it landed only on the next landing down. It couldn't have fallen more than 12 foot. Good God, lot shorter fall than Mariah in 86 High Street. Anyway, she burst into tears, started screaming her head off, went down. I thought, oh God, here we go. I'd better go. And these two girls were shitting themselves. I said, don't worry, I'll talk to her, I'll smooth it over. They were like, we're going to get it in the neck. And we weren't bullying her, we weren't. I said, I know you weren't. This is just her. This is how she is. Anyway, I went down to help her with her books, and I said, they're only books. They'll be fine. They're not going to smash. Oh, there's a quink bottle. So she got her quink bottle out. There was nothing wrong with it. But when you look at one of those old quink bottles, in the bottom, there's always a slight step down. It's where they do the injection mould to make the bottle itself. They're all the same. She held it up to the light and she said, look, it's got a step down. My mother's going to kill me. My mother's going to kill me. Screaming, crying, making an absolute bloody scene. And I knew the teacher would be along any minute. And these other two girls were really shitting themselves. And I said, look, just tell your mother that you and I were messing about and it fell over the banisters. If your mother even asks to see your quink bottle, which I sincerely doubt she will. And her exact words were, she went, yeah, I'll blame it on you. And I went, whoa, that's not what I said. Calm down. She said, no, you can take the blame for this. Anyway, I thought nothing more of it. I just thought, what a big do about nothing. I went home that night, and the phone rang in the evening, and one of my elder sisters answered it, and she said, came to see me, she said, there's a phone call for you. There's a lady on the phone, and it's a middle-aged lady, I can tell by the voice, and she won't tell me who she is. So I said, oh, that's odd, I'll go, and it was this girl's mother. Well, she ripped into me. I suppose I'd have been about 13 or 14. She ripped into me. She told me I was going to go to prison. She said awful things. Anyway, I just put the phone down in stunned silence. And I went back to my bedroom and I sat on my bed and I started to cry. I was really shaken. I mean, this woman was, how can I say it without giving away her identity? Well, she worked within the criminal justice system. Sort of. So I took it seriously. My sister, I didn't know, had been listening to the whole doodah from behind the door because she thought it was odd that a middle-aged woman was ringing me in the evening. So she came through to my bedroom, saw me crying and said, fess up, what's going on? So I told her the whole story about the quink bottle, and I said that was the mother just phoned me up and said I'm going to go to prison. She said, I'm going to go and tell Daddy. I said, oh, don't, you'll make it worse. Well, she did, and I'm glad she did. My father went absolutely fucking ballistic. Needless to say, because he was a well-respected solicitor with quite a high, powerful position, this lady was removed from her position within the criminal justice system. And she was, to put it mildly, off the Christmas card list, because my mum and dad, they literally had a Christmas card list. Good God. They had about 2,000 people on it, and they used to, it was a right ordeal, ordering the right Christmas card from the catalogue and going through this list of names and making sure they didn't miss anyone off. And they'd receive as many, if not more, Christmas cards, and they'd put them in sellotape all over the bloody living room. So there was a literal Christmas card, and if somebody didn't get a Christmas card from my mum and dad, then they felt they were in social disgrace. But it's an expression that people use anyway. Well, this lady, she was off the Christmas card list. The next day I went into school, and this girl said, all arms open, "I love you, Fiona, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that," because she knew it. As usual, she was the author of a big pile of shit which had involved her parents and landed her mum in very hot water. I said to her, I don't want to know. I'm not interested. When are you going to learn that when you don't like someone, just fucking drop it. Let it go. Stop creating enemies, because you are only hurting yourself and making yourself more and more and more hated. Well, fast forward a few months or a year, I can't remember. And we were on lunch break, and we were in our form class, and she was in my form class, and I mean, by this time everybody detested her, and she was causing trouble for somebody else yet again. Couldn't learn. And she used to have her hair in a plait, and this is going to sound absolutely bloody awful what I'm about to say, but it's the truth, and I don't lie to you lot. She used to have her hair in a sort of a ponytail and then a long plait. Well, this girl she was causing shit for was sort of getting really a meltdown, crying, worried. And I just lost my temper with her. I grabbed her by her plait and I spun her around as fast as I could, and I let her go, and she banged into the blackboard, and I said, cover your ears for this, please, those of you who don't like it. And I went, "Shut the fuck up! Everyone's sick of you!" Anyway, my form mistress was at the door. I didn't know she was standing in the doorway, Miss Bristol, and she saw all this. And of course, this girl went running, Miss, look what Fiona did. And Miss Bristol said, "I didn't see or hear anything." That's how bad the situation was. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because when you endorse people or you make friends with people, whether it's online or in real life, sometimes they let you down. They let you down very badly, and they make a fool out of you because you stuck up for them. And I know I've had that recently. And I'm not going to even give the person the dignity of their name, because I know a lot of you out there have no idea what I'm talking about, but some of you do know some recent history. There was a YouTuber who's disappeared now and has now reappeared with a very small, snidey and nasty little YouTube channel, having a go at various YouTubers, amongst them me and Graham. And I won't name the other YouTubers. It's really not worth seeking out. But this person I considered a friend. I actually made videos in her defence, if any of you remember. I stuck my neck out, I went out on a limb, and that branch was sawn off with me standing on it, wasn't it? And I and another big YouTuber, who again I won't name, but she knows who she is, she's a proper lady, we both warned this girl and said, pack it in, stop it for your own good. You are only going to make trouble for yourself. No, she wouldn't have it. She said to us both, "Don't tell me what to do. I bear a grudge. I'm going to get everybody." So in the end, me and this other, and it's a very big YouTuber, very well established and well-known YouTuber, we both threw our hands in the air and said, "Can't help you. We cannot help you." And this was after I'd cleaned up yet another doo-doo, and I'd defended her, and it was just like this girl I went to school with. She just wasn't for listening. She just wanted to cause shit, wanted to cause drama. Well, that's up to her if she wants to do that. But this video is, really, by your age, woman, you should pack it in. People don't like all that nonsense, not on YouTube, not on the internet, not in real life. They don't like it. Now, I don't know if this woman was working for the sugars all along, and I actually, in this instance, really prefer to believe she is, because the alternative is she's a lunatic, right? A knockdown lunatic. And she actually caused a big bloody row privately behind the scenes between me and Wally. And me and Wally have, well, I think we're both of the same opinion. That's all sorted out. She calls Wally shit in other manners. She's insistent everybody's going to be arrested. Wally's going to be arrested. The FBI's going to kick the door in. Well, I haven't been arrested, but you can probably tell I'm not in prison at the moment. And I don't think Wally is either. Because if she's in prison, I'll tell you what a spectacular prison. She's not only got Wi-Fi, they let her upload on Rumble every day. Whoa, isn't that a good kind of prison? Oh, we're all going to go to prison, and Graham and I are actually running a drug smuggling run to Tangiers every day. It's really quite pathetic and sad. Now, on the subject of Graham, one of my subscribers today said they're not sure about him because of the drug smuggling. Now, the story with Graham is, and I'm not sure the exact, what he said yesterday, it was 30 years ago. So it must have been 1992, August 1992. Graham and some of his parachute friends, they'd never done it before. It was the recession and work was hard to come by. And they'd come up with this idea that they could smuggle some diamonds. But they couldn't find anybody who wanted to buy or sell diamonds. But they quite quickly came across someone who was interested in cannabis, and that's what we're talking about here, cannabis, because back in the days with my story, the Daily Mail didn't think it was exciting enough to say Graham was sent to prison for trying to import 20 kilos of slab resin cannabis into the UK, so they just went with drugs. So people think, oh, it might be heroin, it might be cocaine. Now, anyone who knows me, including the old Bill, they know I am famous. I can't stand heroin or cocaine or hardcore drugs. I can't stand them. I understand people being addicted. I'm a drug addict myself. I'm a smoker, and it's a terrible affliction, and we do have people in our family, sort of, not our immediate family, but we do have people who have problems, and we are sympathetic. But I don't like people who import it. I don't like people who deal in it. I just don't like it at all, and neither does Graham. But cannabis, back in 92, it really was lumped in with all the Class A, and yet now it's legalised in a lot of states, I believe, in America, and it is used for medicinal purposes, and it has healing properties, and there are pros and cons, and I know the argument for the what do they call it, schizophrenia, and I personally think there might well be some substance in that, because I know a few people who really got bang into it as teenagers, and yeah, they did develop terrible paranoia and schizophrenia. So it's not something to be messed with, but then no medication is, no drug is. But I just wanted to clear that up, because that one lady had made the point, some people die from drugs. Well, yes, that's absolutely true. They die of overdoses. But I'm not sure I'm aware anyone's ever died from cannabis. They might have done. Cannabis oil, so I believe, because I've seen it on a TV show. I think that's a Class A drug, but that's a totally different animal. But what Graham was, Graham was sent to prison for the type of substance you'd use in a spliff. Okay, so let's clear that one up. And to clear any other issues up, when I was arrested in the campsite in Spain, it wasn't squalor, it was lovely, and we've still got all the home video to show of us with little baby Sammy at Christmas, and it was magical, and we will get round to uploading all of that eventually. And I did not have a tirade, I did not swear at the police, not at all. Well, you know me. I took a deep breath, and the Spanish copper Antonio, the door was open, he said to me, "Are you ready?" And I went, "Yep." He said, "Come on, hold your head high," and I did. I took a deep breath and I stepped out of that caravan with the Daily Mail photographer, zoom lens, and yet right up in my face, and I blanked him, and I got in the back of the car, and they got a photograph of me in the car with a reflection of I think it was a power wire over it, and it made it look like I had several double chins, which is quite funny. And they said I was bloated and dishevelled. I wasn't. I was a stick insect, but I was dishevelled. I always have been. That's me. I don't care. I'm not so much of a stick insect now, but I was then. But no, I didn't do that, and I never did in the days when the police came round. I'd always make them a cup of tea and be very polite to them. So just wanted to clear those things up. And then later on, hopefully I'll make some progress, because I didn't do it yesterday. It was quite naughty. I went to sleep after that picnic and I didn't get on with it, so I better get on with it, and I would love to hear your thoughts and comments below, as always.